If you keep sending quotes and hoping people call you back, or forcing yourself to choose to either do your normal day-to-day work or actually call people that you sent a quote to, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact sales process to follow to increase your close rate from the first text that gets sent to you to the customer's install date. You can literally steal this and plug it into your business as is, regardless if you're utilizing my systems or not. If you are using my systems, this is the process you need to be following to ensure your results are stellar, okay? So here's the big picture of the sales process. The system or your admin is going to pre-qualify the leads that come in and provide a ballpark number, okay? Once the onsite is booked, our nurture sequence pre-sells your services in your business before you ever even show up to the onsite inspection, okay? You run a structured on-site estimate when you get there with your measurements and everything, very structured, and you present the quote in person and handle the objections live on-site with the customer. And then you lock in the install date and take a deposit. And I know that some of you guys might not have that set up. If you need help setting up deposits, just let me know. Later, your admin team just reaffirms the decision with the customer and locks everything into the calendar, okay? And let me walk you through each step and give you word tracks that you can use as well, right? You can pull this video up if you need to and listen to it on your way to your estimates and try it out for the next 7 to 14 days, depending on, how many estimates you're going to, and memorize it so you know exactly what to do and what to say. So step one is a phone or text pre-qualification, right? Like I said, either through the system or the admin. The first thing in the sales process is pre-qualification. We do this right inside the automated sales system for a majority of the incoming leads. And this is how it works. A lead comes in and the system is going to automatically text them and ask qualifying questions. Things like, what are you thinking about doing with the space? What type of concrete coating are you interested in? Where is it located? And about how many square feet do you think that the area is? If they call in instead of texting, your admin or office person asks those same questions on the phone and drops the answers into the system by scheduling an appointment or what have you, right? Once we have these basics, the system actually sends a ballpark quote, with the exception that when the lead calls in, you or your admin team, whoever's answering the phone, actually provides the ballpark over the phone, okay? This isn't a final quote. This is just a ballpark number. You can say something like, based on what you told me, most projects like yours land between, whatever your project minimum is. Let's say that the lowest that you'll ever do a floor for is $1,800, right? So that's what you would say there. Based on what you told me, most projects like yours land between $1,800 and like $6,000, right? The next step is to get you on the schedule for an on-site visit so we can actually measure everything, show you design options, and get you an exact price. And inside that same text message, email, or on the phone call that you're on, you would want to push to schedule the on-site inspection. We can get you on the schedule for an on-site estimate. It usually takes 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll build your quote right there so you're not waiting around. What works better for you, weekdays or weekends? And once that onsite is booked in the system, we move on to step two, which is to pre-sell what that pre-sell nurture is, right? So now that the onsite is scheduled, the system starts a pre-sell nurture sequence. The whole point of this is to show them how good you are before you ever even pull up to the house. This is going to look like photos of jobs that you have done, preloaded into the system. Again, once they book, we're going to send them photos of jobs that you have done, screenshots of your Google reviews, and a short message about what makes you different. What happened, we start selling you, basically. For example, the system will send something like, hey, before we come out, here's a few recent projects so you can see our work. And then we'll also say, like, here's some reviews from homeowners who did similar projects with us. Most companies are not doing this. They just show up and hope that the customer loves them, right? We're actually warming the lead up on autopilot so that by the time that you get there, they already see you as like the pro, not just another quote, another number, right? Again, the only part that is manual here is the phone call pre-qualification. If they call in, your admin actually handles that. If you want my appointment setting script for that, just let me know and I can send it so your office knows exactly what to say and what to ask before they schedule the onsite. And then we move on to the fun part, which is the actual onsite estimate script, which is where you guys come in and the parts that you really need to memorize. The onsite estimate is where you first come in, like I said. So as soon as you get there, you want to frame how it's going to work, right? So that way they're not guessing. You want to set the tone for the estimate. So that way they don't try to lead you through the sale as well. So you say, hey, so this is how here's how this is going to go, so you know what to expect, right? First, I'm going to ask you a few questions about what you have in mind and how you use this space. And then I'll grab measurements and I'll head out to my truck where I'll draft your quote based on what you told me. From there, we can sit down together, review the quote, dial it in until it is exactly what you want. If everything looks good, we will go ahead and get your install date scheduled today, right? The whole thing takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Sound good? And then wait for them to actually say yes. And then you can ask the key question. So why did you have me come out today? And then just let them talk. When they finish, label it back to them. So it sounds like the big thing here is like you want to make sure that the concrete looks better, right? You're going to have people coming over and you want this space to look better. Or you're like, the cracks are just too much, or whatever they say the problem is, why they called you out. You just want to confirm that that's right. You're like, so it sounds like the thing is this issue. Does that sound right? And then you can dig deeper. Like, have you tried anything to handle that yet? Have you gotten other quotes? What did you like about those quotes? What did you not like about those quotes? Have you tried any DIY kits or any other solutions for this space yet? And you're just collecting information that you will use later when you explain your process and your price. After these questions, you want to go ahead and do your normal measurements and then head back to the truck to build out the quote. Once you have the quote ready, you don't just text or email them the quote from the truck and then leave. Okay, you go back inside and you present the quote in person. And before you show numbers, you want to explain the solution in super simple language. Do not nerd out on thickness or product names or anything like that. You want to sell the outcome of them working with you, choosing to work with you, right? For example, you want to say, here's what we're going to do for you. We're going to come in, we're going to fix the prep the right way so the coating actually bonds, and then we're going to install the epoxy system or poly system or whatever system that is built for how you use this space or what your goal is, right? The goal is simple. You walk in here and it feels finished, easy to clean, no peeling, no hot tire pickup, no mess. And then draw the contrast with what they might be thinking about, right? Like a lot of cheaper quotes and DIY kits skip steps on prep, or they're using thinner products, they're using water-based products. That is where you see the peeling, and people pay twice to fix the same floor, right? Get ahead of it. Our goal is to do it once, do it right, and be the last company that you need for this floor. And then show them the quote and say, hey, based on everything that you told me, here's the quote that I recommend. Here's the option that I recommend for this space. Let me walk you through what it includes and how that process works. And then this is where you walk them through everything, and you want to surface objections while you're still there in person, right? You want to ask them, how does this process sound compared to what you've seen out there or tried before? And then just let them talk. If they bring up price, timing, other bids, or scope, you handle that live. If you need help, this is where you would use your objection handling cheat sheet. If you do not have this cheat sheet I put together, or if you need new ways to handle objections, just let me know. The office and the admin team also has access to these objection handling scripts inside of the mobile app and the desktop app also. Another line that you can use is totally get it. What questions or concerns can I answer so you feel comfortable moving forward with the option that actually fixes this for you for the long term? And if they say that they're not ready yet, you can say something like, no problem at all. What would you need to see or understand to feel comfortable moving forward? That way you have a clear next step instead of a ghost, right? And the next step is to actually set the install date and take the deposit. Once objections are handled and they are nodding along, go straight to the calendar. If everything sounds good, when are you looking to get this installed? And then look at your schedule with them and then lock it in. Great. To reserve your date and lock in your materials, we take 50% deposit today. The remaining balance is due when the floor is completed and you're happy with it. And then take that deposit right there on site. No, don't do any of this. I will email this later and you can think about it. You're running a real sales process at this point, right? Deposits on site are naturally going to increase your close rate. If you think about it for a second, you are more than likely sending quotes that aren't closing once you leave the site. You need to handle the objections and help them feel more comfortable. Do not leave them sitting there with concerns that you never uncovered and addressed. Of course, this will increase your close rate, right? If you do this, it's going to increase your close rate. And once you know how to handle objections yourself, you can actually train your team to do sales for you. Think about how nice that would be, right? And then after you leave, this is where your admin team and the system will keep doing the work. Your admin team will book the install on the job calendar. The system will send a confirmation message or an email with the date, time, and what to expect. And then your admin team will also make a quick call just to thank them. And that call can sound like, hey, I just wanted to personally reach out and thank you for trusting us with your project because you already taken the deposit, right? We're excited to take care of you, and you're on the schedule for this date. If you have any questions before then, just let us know. And then our system will also send a short sequence before the install date that reminds them of the date. Just gives them a quick prep, like a list of things to prep for, and then reassures them that they made the right choice. And then at this rate, you're not just closing the job, right? You're cementing the relationship. That's what the point of that last piece is. So this is the full sales process that we run, right? Again, system or admin pre-qualifies and sends a ballpark or provides a ballpark. The nurture sequence pre-sells you and your company before you even arrive. Then the on-site is framed and structured properly. You want to do that process. You explain the outcome, not just the product. You present the quote in person and handle the objections in person. You set the install date and you take the deposit. And then the admin team and automation lock it in, and they reaffirm the decision that the customer made to move forward with you guys on site. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're stuck because your process is just a little bit too loose. If you tighten up this sales process, this workflow, if you tighten this up, the same leads you already have will start turning into book paid installs. Okay. You just need to make sure that you're actually going through this process. And like I said, just think about how nice it'll be when you've done this process enough to where you know every objection and you have it written down, to where you can provide that to a sales team and you can remove yourself from doing that sales, right? So thank you for listening to this. I hope it helps. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns about the process, and we can always talk about it more on an in-depth level, right?